Episode 4. Here we are with Dow Zabolio. How's it
Hello.
going?
It's good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Well, relatively. I mean, there's a lot,
There's a
lot
lot
of,
going on.
yeah, a lot of shit hitting the fan right now. But that's personal stuff. Whatever.
Welcome to being an adult.
Oh yeah, it's hitting me pretty damn hard. But I've been doing this for a while, so whatever. Eh, am I surprised sometimes? But I'm less surprised every time more
Yeah.
shit hits the fan. It
I'm
doesn't
like, well, all
stop.
right. I gotta at least just figure this out at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But so we're in audio school together right now.
hmm
What are you going to school for? Like, what are you doing?
So, like, what is crass and like what we're doing there, or like
No,
what?
like what are you going there for?
Gotcha.
Like,
Okay.
what are you doing in audio?
So for a while, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to really do with this. Like at orientation and everything, they listed off so many different like parts of the industry that I was like, well, I won't know until I've been presented them. And I think that over the course of the program, I've started to pick up that I'm not really wanting to be in a studio all day every day. Like the recording sessions and stuff that we've done have been interesting and cool, and like I'm glad that I have those skills, but I don't think it's necessarily the avenue that I want to head towards, and I think I'm falling back on theater as something I've done in the past and enjoyed doing, and it's like, well, I could get back into that world with these new skills and the skills that I have from before and be sort of like a well-rounded technician.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I know what you mean about the studio thing. Like I've been sitting there and like trying to imagine what it would be like to just record every day and try to like, get the most precise, version of everything you can. And
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like monotonous almost.
A little bit, and also I don't do well with micromanagement. I would rather just be given a task and trusted to go and do it instead of having a producer over my ear, like, hey,
Yeah.
now EQ this and bring this up and then throw on this. It's like I would much rather just like, hey, do this for me, and I'll come back later and see how you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know. I guess some people like the technical like engineering side of it though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't mind like mixing,
Oh,
which
I
is
love
why
mixing.
yeah, I want to go into like a live sort of
Mm-hmm.
avenue first. I want to do live music and live
Okay.
sound. Like I want to play with the boards and make the sounds different
Yeah.
as the people are playing. Can I get the best live performance out of it?
And like just having fun with it, and like getting that rapport with the musicians, if you get to meet them and stuff like that, and like figuring out what they like about their set, and then trying to bring the best part of that out just through
Yeah.
your own work.
Yeah, I've always thought about the guys who are the dedicated sound technicians for the band. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that would be crazy to be one of those guys. Um,
Probably very underappreciated, but the people that matter will appreciate you.
yeah, I actually have a cousin named Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
He was the sound guy for Counting Crows a while
Wow.
back. So he went on tour with them, but yeah, he pulled up a well, it was like we were practicing some mixing in a theater that he works in now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the Orpheum Theater downtown,
Okay.
historic theater. It's been there, I don't know since when. I haven't looked it up in a while.
Is it like a performance theater, or is it
Yeah,
okay?
they do live theater, like live performances. On the weekends, sometimes he'll play movies and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like he's, I don't know, he's like the head sound tech there, so he runs all the systems and like
Mm-hmm.
he pretty much built the system. And I don't know, it's impressive,
Yeah. I mean,
especially like he pulled up a multi-track and how it was having me mix in this huge room.
that's incredible.
It just sounded crazy, man. But I don't know. I want to do more of that. I want to do more live sound for sure.
I think that that'll be probably be something that I'm picking up sort of on the side as like ways to supplement the income if I can like get into those spaces. I'm thinking of going to Austin for my internship
Oh, that'd
because
be cool.
I've got like most of my support system is within 100 miles of Austin, and so getting back to that space where I feel like I'm surrounded by the people that I care about, like
Oh, that
is
helps for sure.
yeah, that'll make the transition easier, I think. Like I don't want to be in Texas forever. Like I spent 22 years there. I don't
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling about Arizona.
don't
I
need to
I know what you're feeling.
but as a way of like sort of starting out in a place where my feet are solid on the ground, I've got people around me that like support me, and then I can sort of take more risks because like the consequences of failure aren't necessarily as high as if I went to just like Chicago or New York and
Yeah, it's just
things
hundreds
blow
and
up.
hundreds of miles away.
Yeah.
Just okay.
And I've also got friends that have been working in the theater spaces in Austin and Houston for a while.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
like the connections are there. I just need to start
Have you
fostering
like
those.
worked with them already?
A few times.
Ooh.
I got a good friend, Braden. He and I did a year at Texas A&M together.
Yeah.
He finished and got his degree. Very proud of him. I did not. Uh,
You're not alone.
but while we were at the school, we worked on several performances together, and since then we've been playing like D&D and Pathfinder and other things like that for years.
Nerds.
Honestly, yeah. And I think back cycle 2, which was when was that even? Like April. There was a show that he was working on because all throughout the pandemic he'd been doing like live Zoom performance like with theater and like improv and comedy and stuff, which is
Well, you like a camera just pointed at a stage?
no, like everyone at home on like their computers, like on a Zoom call together, and then he had just found a way to like working with the other technicians on the shows he was working on.
Yeah.
Found a way to keep the latency even throughout, like using audio movers, and then it got to the point where the show that I worked on with him, they had musicians in like 10 different countries. I made or at the very least several countries and like multiple states, and all of them were able to improvise with each other with musicians improvising on top, like in perfect sync, just because
How do you do that with no latency?
so audio movers allows you to use a fixed latency, and so everyone was on the same like latency amount, and I don't pretend to know all the ins and outs of how that worked.
Yeah,
It's wizardry as far
that's
as I'm
over my
concerned.
head too. Yeah.
But it was cool to like basically my job was to be like the audience facing like quality control. So I was in the actual like performance stream and in the chat and monitoring levels like, hey, we need more flute here. Oh, the cello's a little bit too loud now. Oh, I can't hear this actor.
Oh,
And
so
then
you're like pretty much mixing over chat?
yeah,
Wow.
like I didn't have the board in front of me, but I had the ear of someone who did, because he couldn't hear what the audience was hearing.
Oh yeah, that would, okay.
So I was basically like the final stop before. Well, actually,
Oh,
it
wow.
wasn't much of a stop. It was, well, I'm in the audience with everyone, and I'm hearing what's going on.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. You're like the front of a house guy.
Yeah, a little bit. And I would also like be chatting in the chat because it was also an interactive performance. So like they wanted
Oh, yeah.
audience participation and stuff like that, and so I was in chat encouraging that.
That's complex.
It was a lot, especially to jump in towards the end of their like production where like they'd already done a bunch of rehearsals and figured out a lot of the tech stuff, and they're just like, "Hey, we need this. Can you do this?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And it was a good experience. Reminded me of why I like theater and that I want to go back. And I think that if that hadn't happened, I might not necessarily have been or had the even the notion to jump back into theater. But now that I've tasted it again, it's like, I want it back.
Yeah. How would you start up again?
How would I start up again?
Yeah, what would you jump into?
So I've been talking with like the internship coordinators at Crass, and I think that I want to market myself, at least for the internship, as like a multidisciplined technician. So someone who, if they need help with sets, if they need help with lighting, if they need a sound person, like whatever they need, I can kind of do because I've had experience in the
Yeah,
past.
that would be pretty valuable on a stage.
Yeah, and like as much as I want to use like all the sound skills that I've picked up, like there's nothing like being handed like a prop assignment like, hey, we need you to build this, and then figuring it out on your own, like cutting it yourself, like
Yeah, that gets pretty fun sometimes. Depending on, I don't know, sometimes it's plain and it's just
yeah.
boring.
But even then, you can find little ways to like spruce it up a little bit, make it yours, I guess. There
Easter
was
eggs.
Hmm?
Put Easter eggs in the set.
Sure, yeah, why not? But there was I worked a theater internship in Florida back in like 2017, and this was right after I had left Texas A&M. So I was 19, had never left Texas, never left my parents' house outside of going to school at A&M. And they were offering housing and a very small stipend. And I figured, all right, well, I can make that work, get some experience. And in my time there, they there was there was a day when the artistic director came down. This was probably a few weeks after I'd started. He came down to the set shop where I was working and talked to the technical director, and he said, "Hey, for this show, we need a prop tank that someone can be inside and sort of pick up like by like a couple handles and walk out onto the stage, and it also needs to shoot confetti." Um, and the technical director looked at his list of things to do, looked out at like the people that he had to help, and was like, "That sound if someone's inside of it, that sounds like costumes job." And so he's like, "Go talk to them." So he went up, talked to them. They were like, "Where are we gonna put a tank that big in this costume shop, which is just full of stuff?" Like, no, go back to sets. They will handle it. And so back and forth a couple times, and then I guess on one of the elevator trips, he had a light bulb moment. He was like, "Wait, we have an intern. They can make it." And I was like, "Well, I've never done anything involved in prop design or construction, but sure, why not?"
Yeah. Just pull up YouTube for me.
Yeah, really. So I came up with a little prototype. I got some feedback from not only costumes but also sets, and was like, "Hey, do you think that this will work? Like this I built it. Like, it was like probably like a shoebox size." And they're like, "Yeah, no, go for it." And so from then on, like the next 3 weeks was me just figuring out how this was gonna work and going and making it. And by the end of it, they're like, "Hey, now we need two." And I got the other one, the second one done in a day because I had already figured out
Yeah.
how to do it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like that feeling of like being given something that no one else is going to be working on, and they just, "Hey, you're going to get it done, right?" I'm like, "Sure, yeah, that's going to happen," and it did, and it was really cool.
I imagine people who are really into like sound engineering and recording get that feeling all the time.
Oh, I bet.
When they get the song done and everyone's just like, "Hell yeah, got it, complete," and like that feeling is probably a rush.
And
know?
while they're working on it, they're like, "Oh my god, this is horrible. Everyone hates this. Like, this isn't going to be good." And then everyone was like, "Yeah, no, that was really good. Good job. Very impressed." And you're like, "Well, I don't know what you see in this, but good for me."
Yeah, I wonder what that feeling's like. Jeez, where you're just like, "I think it's garbage, but I'm not gonna open my mouth."
Yeah.
I can't imagine. So, I heard, or you said you were working in, like, on a game? With
Oh,
some
yeah.
game audio? Tell me about
God,
that.
I'm spinning so many plates. But I'm working on a how to describe a cyberpunk parkour game that's set on a spaceship orbiting a black hole at the end of the universe.
Hmm.
And I'm doing sound stuff for that. So there's a
It sounds like a lot of sound design.
some good sound design work there. And I'm also a bit of a programmer. I did 3 semesters at a like programming school. Also didn't finish that one. Doing great.
Hey, if you're learning, right?
That's the way that I see it. Like I don't consider any of those to be failures because I still got skills that I'm still using from both of those like experiences, and like sure, it cost a lot of money and I'm never getting that money back, but at least I can say like, okay, well, despite it not working out and being able to finish, like I can point to things that I now use, if not daily, at least like monthly.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's easier to branch off of those subjects you already know something about. Like,
Yeah.
as far as programming, like I'm lost. Like I wouldn't know where to start. Like I don't know anything. Like I took a programming class in high school. They taught us Visual Basic.
Oh.
Literally just like ABCs.
Yeah.
Like it is like nothing. It meant nothing at all. It was like a waste of time almost.
I wish that more things were taught with like a like product like oriented like what's the word I'm looking for? Like working towards something instead of just learning loose concepts that you're never really going to apply to anything. Like if they like what got me into programming was actually so that we had to take two programming classes in high school, and I couldn't tell you what happened in the first one. I don't remember it at all. But the second one that I took was like intro to like game programming, and we were using a proprietary language that no one has ever heard of called live code. Um, but for our final project, we were just basically set loose and was like, hey, make whatever you want, like as long as it's a game. And so I spent way too much time on it and developed the first 10 minutes of a demo of an RPG, like top down, like what's the Zelda game that's like the 2D top down one?
Oh, the first Zelda game?
Sure, maybe.
Legend of Zelda?
Yeah. I mean, like lots of them are like that, but I was thinking of another one.
Like Link's Awakening?
Link's Awakening is the one I was thinking
Yeah.
of. Yeah, I spent probably more time than the rest of my classes warranted. Like they needed more of my time, and I was not giving it to them because I was so focused on the thing I was making. But by the end of it, we all got to show off our games in class, and like some people did like tic-tac-toe, some people did like I can't even remember.
So I would totally do Pong.
Something like that,
just
yeah.
to pass.
I think someone actually did like a 4-person Pong, which was interesting, like having like 2 on one side and 2 on the other, and it could like ricochet.
Wow.
But when I went up with mine, everyone in the class was just like, well, of course you tried extra hard on this, like, but also that was pretty cool. Like it was a bunch of like a bunch of athletes and like other people who were not interested in the class. They just needed the credit.
Yeah, of course.
But like even being like getting them from like beyond like, oh well, try hard to like that was actually pretty cool. Like that was a fun feeling.
Like actually impressing these people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where's your game going then?
We are trying to have like
Your space parkour one. What is it in progress or?
So we're trying to have a demo out by the end of the year.
Okay.
Whether or not we hit that is up in the air at the moment, but like that's our goal. And that demo is going to be like the first maybe 20 minutes of a 3-hour game loop.
Okay.
So we're basically still building out like the first region of the game, and then that'll just be the demo. But it's coming along. I would say that we're about more than halfway to where we want to be on that. And it's just solving like little problems, and then once that problem is solved, developing further, hitting another problem, you're like, oh well, how are we going to solve this one? And there's a lot of overlap between
I'm sure
programming and like troubleshooting audio, because there's always something that's wrong, always, and it's a matter of figuring out what is and isn't working, and then like getting to the root of the problem and then fixing it.
Yeah, you always have to like find another way around something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's almost like it's never a straight line.
No.
You're always making this web of random like solutions all over the place.
And that's the thing that I love about like hearing stories of like programmers that have been in the industry for forever, because like there is like the proper way to do things, and then there's the way that games actually get made, which is some really hacky solutions to things that just happen to work, and you're like, well, this is ugly as hell, but it works, and we're going with it. And like this goes against everything that my instructors have ever taught me about programming, but we're not technically breaking any rules, and the rules that we are breaking are making it better. So that's what we're going with.
Also, I already tried it and it worked.
Yeah. And nothing blew up, so I think we're good.
So far.
Yeah. And then if it does blow up later, we'll fix it later.
Yeah, just wait till the next update.
Oh, yeah. Really, honestly. God. Software updates are literally the bane of development, because I think major studios literally have like a technology freeze for games that they're working on. They're like, we're not updating anything past these software like versions, because if we do, it might introduce bugs that we don't want to have to fix. And that might be 3 years before the game ships, where they're just like, this is where we're going. Like, we're developing from this point onward and not gonna update anything. Even if like some cool brand new feature comes out that would make our workflows a little easier, like we don't want to risk accidentally messing up the things that we've done by changing the software that we're using.
Yeah, it's that has to be intense. Like just trying to figure out all the overlaps.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like I said, I'm not a programmer. It would be.
I'm barely a programmer. I'll put it that way. Like we're using Unreal Engine to develop the game, and before I stepped onto this project, I had no experience in Unreal. Like I could code and I could do some things like in C++, but Unreal Engine's its own beast. Like imagine the first time that you stepped into Pro Tools, like how lost you felt and like, God, where is everything and how do I do the things that I know as an audio engineer? Like,
yeah, Pro Tools wasn't even the first thing I used. I was on Reaper first. It's like a free DAW.
Yeah.
But well, I mean, they ask for $60, but their trial is forever. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, more of a donation really. But I mean, Reaper can do pretty much anything like Pro Tools or Logic can, just differently.
Sure.
Probably not as smoothly, or probably doesn't have all the bells and whistles that Pro Tools has. That makes your life way easier.
But I just found it was so interesting that like I was learning Unreal and starting Pro Tools at around the same time, and it was like, God, I don't know what either of these do. Like I know what I want them to do, and I know like I have the programming concepts and I have the audio concepts. Like, so I know what can be done in these, but just figuring out the UI and like where things are located and like a workflow, that's still something I'm working on in both of those things.
Oh yeah, man. I feel like that in these audio programs for sure. I can't figure out how to like, I feel like I'm always backtracking like, all right, so now how did I do this last time? Like I'm always trying to think of like what I did last time to get the thing to do the thing. But
like the bounce step on the proficiency today, like I had to try it like 5 or 6 different times, and I was like, why am I either still getting vocals when I didn't want vocals or no sound whatsoever?
Yeah, I got to the last step on that test and I couldn't finish it. I knew exactly what to do, and I was about to click all the buttons and the timer went off. I was like, oh man, like I wasn't even stuck. I was about to click it, But, I don't know. He let me get 10 points at the end for it.
Nice.
So he let me go back and was like, wait, like, you didn't even get to this part? I was like, no. Like, I ran out of time. He's like, all right, well, if you do it right now, like, I'll give you 10 points.
That's awesome.
Like, okay, cool. Well, at least I got that, so.
Yeah, he gave me partial credit, too. He was like, I know you know what you're doing. You just messed up this little thing that made it way harder for you to actually finish it on time, so.
Yeah. TD told me he had to record something twice.
Fuzz deleted all the tracks in his session on accident.
Oh, man.
Like, he was sitting right next to me, and I could tell he was starting to panic. I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? It's gonna be fine. Go to session backups. Go to session backups.
Yeah, that sucks. Dude, that happened to me on my my fifth cycle project.
Oh, no.
I was working on the intro for this show.
Uh-huh.
And I was in the studio. I was trying to do the mix down of the API. And I went through the whole night putting, like, compressors. It's just some weird-ass reverb. And then I put delay on the reverb.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even on the original. Yeah, it was, like, delay on the reverb. And it just sounds just totally insane. If you look up one of the, like, earlier episodes, you can hear it. But, so after I did all this, like, all night long, started at, 3 in the morning. Yeah, 7 and went till 3 a.m. Or no, I started at 3 a.m.
Oof.
So I was in there at 3 a.m. until like 7. And then right around 5 or 6 o'clock, I was trying to get it back on my laptop. Mm-hmm. And I asked help from one of the guys. And he comes over. He's like, oh, this is a mono track. You wanted to bounce it you wanted to bring it back to a stereo track, right? It's like, yeah. He hits delete and deletes all the tracks.
No!
I was like, what happened? It's like, what did, like,
Thanks,
where
bro.
are the tracks? He's like, oh man, when's the last time you saved? It's like, oh shit, I didn't save. It's like learned
Ooh.
a hard lesson that day.
Well, were you able to get
But,
it through the backups?
well, I already had the files.
Uh
I
huh.
already had the regular audio files,
But getting it all
and
back in there
all I
is.
really did to edit in Pro Tools that day was like I slapped the guitar in there. I kind of chopped the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and then I time stretched the vocals to fit. They're so heavily like had so heavy effects on them anyways. Like
Yeah.
time stretch, you're not even gonna hear it. So I just stretched it out and I put it back together in like 20 minutes.
Well,
But
there you go.
it's like, oh man, I was panicking. Like he was sitting there and I could tell he was starting to sweat. He was like,
Yeah.
oh no.
You never
Like,
want to be the person that
he's-
messes up someone else's
yeah,
project.
he was like looking through backups. He was like, "Oh no, it doesn't have it. Like this isn't it, is it?" It's like, "Nope." I was like, "Can you just get up? Can you just get
Yeah,
up?
leave,
Like
sir.
I gotta get to work, man. I gotta go to work. Like I gotta get back to it." But yeah, I figured it out and got it done. But
Yeah. And the next time that happens, because it will happen again, I'm sure. Just because that is the nature of the work.
I save all the time now.
Yeah.
Like, oh
What are you
well.
doing?
But I don't know. I'm gonna be making some more intros eventually.
Nice.
Hopefully, I can get my guitarist back in the studio. He can do some more screaming for me. He's pretty crazy. TD walked into the studio like the night he was there when we were recording,
Mm-hmm.
and he was in there doing vocals, and TD was in the studio with me, and he was just like, "God damn!"
That's a pretty good TD face.
Yeah, it was really good, but I don't know. It was entertaining doing the whole recording session. I got to get my guys back in there.
Yeah.
I can get my dad in too.
Ooh.
He sings,
Okay.
but
There
he
you
used
go.
to sing for a cover band for a long time,
Nice.
like going to dive bars and shit around here.
I actually really love a good cover band. Like, if they know what they're doing, like, I like hearing interesting takes on songs. Like, there's a band called Sleep Token, and they're not a cover band, but they do covers. And they did a cover of Hey Ya by Outkast.
Oh wow.
And it is slow and sad and depressing, but it's beautiful. And it's like, I knew that the lyrics to that song were depressing, like, because it's about basically two people that can't figure out how to get back to, like, that honeymoon phase that they used to have, and,
Yeah.
like, wondering why they're even still together. But, like, hearing it with, like, slow piano and,
Yeah.
like, soft strings and guitars and stuff, you're just like, damn, that
Yeah,
is...
changes it totally.
Exactly, yeah. Like, when a cover completely changes the meaning or the context of the song, like, you know it's a good cover. As long as it's, like, didn't change it from, like, a good meaning to a shitty meaning.
Yeah.
Like...
There's this metal band I know called Graveworm, and it's like black metal kind of, but it's really like,
I know nothing about the distinctions.
oh well, it's really big sounding, and they have like organs, like cathedral organs in the background.
So kind of
Gothic, like super big, you know. And they do some random ass covers.
Okay.
They have one, "Message in a Bottle" by
No
Police.
way.
Oh man, it's good. It's really good. Like I like listening to it just for the musical quality. Like I don't even listen to the Police, and I like that song. But they do another one, "I Need a Hero."
Yeah.
Like, dude, oh, that one's really good too. They have the piano in there. It's like so perfect. But I don't know. It's really interesting when bands do weird covers like that.
Yeah. Like, do you remember when, I don't know if you ever, like, these ever came across your radar, but, like, there was that, like, compilation album, like, series that would come out once every couple years called, like, Punk Goes Pop?
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
Where they would just, like, take, like, Breathe Carolina and, like,
Yeah.
other bands in that genre. And
I
just,
was in the Navy at the time, and you know the guys I worked with. There was one guy I worked with who would always play Punk Goes Pop whenever he had the controller or whatever. He would play like Punk Goes Pop or like some man, I don't know. The guy he's pretty crazy. He'd play like normal pop music too, just stuff you'd hear on the radio. Like,
Yeah.
why are you choosing to listen to this? Like, I have to listen to this everywhere I go, like unwillingly. And you're gonna put it on YouTube right now, like, god damn.
That's why I don't listen to the radio anymore, because it's the same 10 songs every hour.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm glad I have Spotify.
Me too. I think that the second that I got my hands on Spotify, like my music taste went from whatever was on the radio to anything and everything. Like my music taste just expanded so much in high school when that first came out. Like I think I was a freshman in high school when Spotify first made its way into like out of the like testing phase and like was like available for download for everybody.
Mm.
And I don't think my music taste would be the same today if I hadn't found like Spotify back then. Like it reminds me of when like my grandparents would describe like going to like a record store and digging through crates and stuff like that to find weird gems and
Yeah,
stuff.
that sounds like a waste of time. I don't know. You might find some interesting stuff doing that nowadays too. It just sound like, older stuff, but
I mean, I would imagine that like if you're someone who's like spinning tracks like as a DJ or whatever, and like you want samples and things, like digging through crates is probably the way to find some interesting stuff.
yeah, you probably could. Probably a lot of garbage though.
Yeah, that's same with Spotify. Like I have a to listen playlist that always has about like 200 or 300 songs on it, and I might out of those 300 might like 5 or 6, maybe 10 or 12, like it really depends, but like the rest are nothing I want anything to do with, so it's a slog to sort of go through and find the things that you like.
I usually I'm really picky when it comes to music, so I don't push the like button very often on Spotify.
I don't use the like feature at all.
That's all I use. I'm too lazy to make playlists, so
Oh, I'm super organized.
no, I just have a likes folder, and then I have one called work that I just kind of made a playlist that like it excludes all of the extreme music that I listen to. Because like I work on people's like houses,
Yeah.
so I'm out there on the side of their electrical panel. I don't want to be blasting like death metal
Yeah.
outside their window. So I put it on like I put all the rock and blues songs that I have on there.
I would do that when like I knew that I would have to be riding in the car with my parents, but like they would give me the aux. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to my playlist that does not have any expletives. Let's go.
Yeah, I don't know. My parents don't really care about that, but my mom wouldn't appreciate listening to like Amon Amarth
Yeah.
while we're driving down the road.
Probably not.
She doesn't really get into the Viking metal stuff. She's more of a like Billy Joel kind of person.
Okay.
Like,
Respect.
classic or like classic like pop rock kind of stuff. But I don't know. I was raised to like Metallica and Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath, and Pantera.
My parents listened to praise and worship music, country, and 80s. So that was all that I thought music was until I was like 14.
Wow.
I had never been exposed to anything outside of that. And then I was going to a soccer game, and my friend's mom was driving, and my friend turned on the radio and was just flipping through channels. And I think the first introduction that I had to pop, like just in general, outside of like the songs that everyone kind of knew, was Love Like Woe by the Ready Set. And I heard that song, and like something in my brain exploded. It was like, this music can be this? It doesn't have to just be those 3 things that I hear all day, every day.
Dude, it's crazy finding a weird genre that like you never knew existed.
Yeah.
Like just like I've been getting into like electronic music, I'd say over like the past 5 or 6 years.
Love me some EDM.
And yeah, but like the stuff I listen to is like the harder side of it.
Yeah.
The stuff that people don't listen to. So it's like
trap and like trance and
no,
like not trap and like the
like hardcore and
Okay.
Frenchcore and
Okay.
like some terrorcore, but that's hard to find good stuff. I don't know. Some of it just sounds like noise.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like really hard to the point where like the bass is just always just got 4 layers of distortion.
Yeah.
It's just like like that stuff just sounds so cool. And like the first time I heard like a Frenchcore song, it like I was like, what the fuck are these sounds I'm hearing? Like, whoa.
That's
like, how
my
do they
favorite
make
thing
this
in the
shit?
world. Like when I hear a sound that I've never heard before, not even just a genre or like an artist, but like they use a sound that like I've never heard used in any other song. And I'm like, that's amazing.
Oh yeah, dude.
I want
I'll show
everything
you,
to do with all
I'll show
of
you
that.
some Frenchcore songs that
Please
like blew my
do.
mind. It's just like how like it's one of the reasons like I wanted to get into like an audio school.
Okay.
Is some of this EDM I'm listening to. I just want to know how they're doing it.
Yeah.
How do they make the sound? Because it's like they probably just started with a sine wave,
Yeah.
just a regular tone of boo,
And then just audio suited the hell out of it.
oh yeah, just destroyed it and
Yeah.
just ripped it up, and then took a sample of that, stretched it, ripped
Ripped it
that
again.
up, and
Yep.
like find little bits out of that to make their music out of. And it's like, god damn.
I think it was a class with Beckley, but he went through and made like a lot of the classic like instrument sounds in like classic EDM music. I was like, I've definitely heard that before. That was really cool that you did that in 2 steps in 30 seconds. Like,
What do you mean, like on the signal generator, or?
some of it was signal generator. I think we were in Logic at the time. And I think he was just like messing with plugins, and he was like, and like, you know that sound that you hear in like these type of songs? I'm gonna do that real quick. And then like 30 seconds later, he had something that I'd heard in like 10 different songs before, but, and like could identify as like, oh, I know that that's in this song and that's in this, like, I can't come up with a
Yeah,
good example
it's
off the
just
top of my head,
a
but
classic staples.
yeah.
Like classic staples in the electronic music.
And
Like,
they're just that easy to make.
oh yeah,
Like, obviously, like, people are messing with like I don't know, Deadmau5, for instance. That guy has $8 million worth of like audio equipment and like an actual patch bay rack in his studio.
well yeah. I mean, I've heard that guy's like an audiophile to the
Oh yeah.
extreme. Like he
He is the only
seeks
owner.
out specific, unique noises
Yeah.
to fuck with.
And he's the only, as far as I know, the only private owner of like a Dolby surround sound studio. Like full, like,
That doesn't surprise me.
yeah, professional capacity.
It
And
doesn't surprise me.
and then he just streams to Twitch from that room while he's making stuff. Like, you, like, people get to watch him make the albums that he makes, which is really crazy.
Yeah, I've always wondered when artists were gonna like get more into that, because it's not very popular.
Mm-hmm.
People are constantly like trying to hold on to their music and release it in one big reveal or something, and I'm like wondering when people are gonna realize that's outdated.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it doesn't.
think that the fear there is like someone watching, like ripping the audio and then copywriting it themselves before they get the chance to.
Yeah, and that is
Which would
because of outdated copyright laws. They
Yeah.
need to be updated to reflect streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Like if somebody streams like content that they make, is it copyrighted right then and there because it's
Yeah.
streamed live, or is it? Can somebody turn around and register that
Yeah,
with a letter?
yeah.
Like, come on, like that doesn't seem right to me. But
I mean,
I don't. I wouldn't know the first step towards a solution in that.
there have been some interesting developments on the streaming, like not like Twitch streaming, but like Spotify and Apple Music and stuff. Back in 2019, they finalized, I don't know if it was a bill or whatever, but like, basically they each went and got like blanket mechanical licenses for their services. So now, as long as you're not releasing a song for like purchase, if you're just uploading to Spotify your music and you do a cover of a song, that's perfectly legal because Spotify's blanket mechanical license like covers that for you. Of course, if you want to go and sell it later, you're gonna have to obtain the license for it. But
So Spotify will cover that for you, or does it come out of
It's-
the like the streaming revenue?
I mean, at this point, I don't even, I'm not even gonna pretend to know how the like people get paid on Spotify.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm aware, if you write a cover of a song and release it like exclusively on like Spotify or Apple Music for streaming, not for download, then it is fair game.
Huh, that's interesting.
I guess because they wanted to cover their own asses, where it's like people are uploading thousands of songs to their services every day, and they don't want to have to like constantly be knocking away legal like complaints about covers of songs that weren't authorized.
Yeah,
and
I
stuff.
mean, it probably does save them a hell of a lot of legal fees if they just cover everybody.
Yeah,
I bet that's the biggest portion of lawsuits.
oh yeah, it's like, well, we don't want to deal with this anymore,
Yeah.
so we're just gonna say it's okay for everyone. We will pay whatever we need to on our end. We are making plenty of money to do that.
Well, and that draws people to their platform too. More people want to be on Spotify.
Yeah.
Hell, I want this podcast to be on Spotify.
Yeah,
Eventually it will be. But I don't know.
that's where I listen to all my podcasts anyway.
Yeah, well, I keep hearing that podcasting is going to shift to a different direction.
Huh?
It's not going to be like big corporations as much as it is like people giving money directly to the
Okay.
content
So like
creators.
Patreon stuff.
Sort of like that direction, where you're
Okay.
subscribing directly to a person,
I'm here for
or
that model.
you leave donations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming it's going to depend on wherever they're distributing their podcast,
Sure.
but I'm sure most people are going to have multiple avenues where you can give them money.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants your money.
Yeah.
But
And just like I don't know, like have a website where you can just download the RSS feed on your phone or whatever.
sort of. I mean, there's other apps and stuff now that are like, you know, um they're like libraries for podcasts
Okay.
almost, you know. But like I think one of them is podcastindex.org. That's one I heard recently. But it's this whole like project by a bunch of people who are it's like
Okay.
open source programs to do all of these things. So
Nice.
they're kind of just pooling together their resources and trying to make podcasting what it should be, rather than a bunch of big ass streaming services just
Yeah.
monopolizing on it.
It's not companies finding talent and then monopolizing it. It's just
Yeah.
two people in a room chatting about random audio shit.
Yeah, because honestly, the reason they're doing this is because people are getting canceled left and right for saying like arguably correct shit. Like,
Yeah.
there's
It's
a
a-
lot of people getting canceled, and there's a lot of people that say the wrong shit that should be in the light.
Yeah, cancel
Please let them
culture
say the
is-
the wrong shit, you know.
It was.
But
It
I don't know.
started from a place of like wanting to address the problems that no one has been talking about for a long time, but like anything on the internet, it's gotten blown way beyond any sort of useful, like useful concept. Like now, it's just things that people can use against each other. It's like one more tool in the arsenal.
Yeah, it's weaponized victimization.
Yeah.
I heard that term and I was like, damn, that describes so much. It's like, holy shit. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see like where it goes though. I
Yeah.
feel like I had TD on here and I said like this is like the golden age of podcasts, right?
Mhm.
So everybody wants to do it, it's so saturated. Yet
Yeah.
it's still profitable, like to some degree.
If you
But
get a large enough following, yeah.
TD was like, I don't know, man. I think they're still before their time.
Huh.
Like I think they're still in the very early stages. And now, like hearing about all of this, like how these groups of people are just mobbing away from the bigger companies so
Yeah.
that they can be less censored when they're running their own ship. You know, it's kind of like making me rethink my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I want now
I
I'm
mean-
kind of more on TD's side. Like I feel like this is going to evolve a hell of a lot more.
Yeah. I
But-
mean, like, if you look at someone like Joe Rogan, who's been doing his own thing for so long,
Yeah.
like, that's. Not that I necessarily agree with everything Joe Rogan says, but
It's hard to.
he's got a lot of opinions. But, like, that model of just, like, being able to. It's like the new version of talk shows almost, where, like, you are able to bring on guests that you find interesting, have interesting conversations, and then, like, it exists within that bubble of the framing of the podcast instead of having to have a network and have like get hired on to host a show that you did not write. Instead, it's just two people in a room talking.
Yeah, it's definitely more natural. I don't like watching somebody on the news behind
It's always
a
very
desk.
performative.
Yeah, with their theater makeup on, and you know
And
they're
their
just they're
scripted
just playing a
conversation.
yeah they're playing a part.
Yeah.
Like they're literally just playing a character. Like I seriously doubt they act that way when they're not on camera.
No.
Like they are probably either like super nice, like way nicer, or like a bigger asshole. Who knows? Like they're definitely not the same person on that camera. So it's like
And I guess
anything they say, it's like
to a certain extent, like if the like cameras are rolling or the microphone is on, like you're
Yeah.
kind of performing to a certain extent, like subconsciously, no matter what. Like it's really hard to turn that off. But in a podcast setting, it's easier to let the barriers down a little bit, I think, and just speak whatever comes into your brain.
yeah, it'll definitely be easier when I can find a way to get this computer out of my face. But yeah, I don't know. Eventually, I want to try to find someone else to bring on too.
Okay.
Somebody who can maybe help me out with video. But
Ooh, that'd be nice.
yeah, but the video will come later. It's just another step that I can't really do right now.
Yeah.
Although the school just gave us the Final Cut code,
That's true.
so I can load up Final Cut now and
Nice.
get on YouTube University real quick.
Is that I downloaded everything, but like, is that like a subscription kind of thing, like Pro Tools is?
I'm
Or
sure
if
it
you've
is.
got it, you've got it.
No, everything's a subscription, man.
Adobe, why did you have to set the precedent?
Yeah, it's like freaking Microsoft with Xbox Live.
Or even Office.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even make a fucking file anymore without having to pay
Yeah.
somebody. Bill Gates's
Use Apache OpenOffice. That's what I use.
or Google Docs at this point. But even like, I can't even get away from Google. Like,
Apache OpenOffice. It's just an open source Word
okay,
program. Like,
is it for Mac?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I have it on another laptop. I haven't got anything for my Mac. I've just left it how they gave it to me. So
I'll be honest. I hate how reliant we are on technology. Like, I have a pretty addictive like personality, and like it kind of runs in the family a little bit. And so part of the reason I got rid of my smartphone was just noticing how much time I was spending on it every single day.
yeah, it hurts.
And I started by just trying to get rid of like social media, because like those would like, I remember there was a time where like I would have like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and like a couple other apps, and for hours I would just cycle between the apps looking for updates where there were none, and would waste so much time doing that. But it was almost like a compulsion.
It's almost like you wake up looking at your phone.
Yeah.
Like, wait, I'm not supposed to be doing this
No.
right now.
And like seeing that like my average use, like daily use, was like up 12 to 13 hours, like I knew that I had to do something.
Oh, jeez.
Or it was just like, this
that's
is
a lot.
not healthy.
Yeah, I would rather stare at the wall than spend 12 hours on
Honestly.
Facebook.
Yeah. So I got rid of my social media, got rid of my smartphone, but even now it's like I'm still on my computer all day every day. Like, I don't want to be. I would rather not.
Yeah. That'd be cool to find a way to not, look into a computer screen all the time.
Yeah.
But that's just the
nature
way
of the
society
world,
is
yeah.
right now. At least this society.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you choose to be a part of this society, there are others you can choose to be a part of.
Yeah, but
You can go up to Alaska and live in the wilderness.
But that's a whole different ball game. Although I have made many a joke, which may or may not be jokes at this point, of just like going and like living in the woods and farming my own food, like having a garden or whatever. Just a simpler life.
That's rough. You might need to like supplement, like go into town and
Yeah.
I don't know, sell some vegetables.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, me, a cabin, and a dog. Like, maybe some books. Maybe.
Maybe some books. That's too high tech. No books.
No books, only papyrus scrolls.
Books are all right if they're handwritten.
Yeah.
They can only be handwritten.
Yep. I'll just go find some monks.
Yeah, then you can make music the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, just Gregorian
beat
chant.
on a skull with some sticks.
Yeah, sure.
Well, you got to be hunting, right?
You're right.
What are you gonna do with all those skulls?
Yep. Although I would imagine that like I'd probably end up tracking more, because like, I mean, look at me, I'm not. For those who cannot see me listening to this podcast, I am 110 on a good day, and skinny as a board. So don't think hunting is necessarily my strong suit, but maybe setting up some traps.
Hunting is about smarts. It's not about being big.
Okay.
You have a weapon because you're a human being.
Yeah.
That's your strength.
Sure. Although I don't know if I'd want to like go hunt with guns. I would rather like bow and arrow, but I'd have to like build up the the strength.
Yeah,
for
bows aren't easy.
that. Yeah.
I don't know. I've hunted with rifles. I've never hunted with a bow. I got a bow to go hunting.
Nice.
And never went.
Is it like is it
It's
composite or?
Yeah, it's like a compound bow.
Okay. That was the word I was. Composite's not a bow.
It's a material,
Okay.
but yeah. Yeah, but I've got a bow. It's pretty fun to shoot. I like shooting it and stuff. I'll set up a target in the backyard. Well, I haven't in a while, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I actually went javelina hunting just a little while ago.
Okay.
I think it was like right before I went to school. But yeah, I was with a muzzleloader, so it was a single shot. I just had
Interesting.
one shot with me, and my grandpa went and he waited in the truck. We drove to a spot and he waited in the truck, and I walked up this ridge like for like 3 miles, and
Wow.
I kept seeing like cactuses with bites taken out of them. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
there's got to be javelina around here. It's like I keep seeing it, and it got more and more fresh as I was walking up the ridge, and I was like, they're not going to be on top of the hill. This is dumb. So I went off the path and I walked down like the first part I saw that I could get down. So I went down to this like little gorge, and it was really rough down there. There was like bushes and huge ass rocks,
Mm-hmm.
like it was a wash, and it was not a trail. And so I was like just
Anything's a trail if you try
pushing,
hard enough.
dude. I was pushing my way through so many trees and shit. Like it was not comfortable. It wasn't fun. I was like losing my spirit. And after about the first mile, I started looking for a place to walk back up on the ridge because I was just tired of it. And there was no spot. I
Oof.
just had to keep pushing through. I was like, God damn. And like I was getting really frustrated with it, and then all of a sudden, like over the next little hill, I saw a bunch of javelina pop up. Like, oh shit, here's my shot! And like I watched them all run past, and they all started running, and they were all gone. I still had my gun up. I was like, oh man, I missed it. And then one last one just pops up. It's
Unfortunate
like,
for it.
boom! Like,
Should
yeah.
should have stuck with the group.
Well, he's out of the gene pool.
Oof.
But yeah. I planned on like, grabbing by the legs and putting it over my back and like
Mm-hmm.
carrying it back, and as I got closer it just smelled horrible. The smell of a javelina is ugh, it's so bad.
I don't know if I know what a javelina is.
It's a little it looks like a warthog.
Okay.
It looks like a boar, like a little
Mm-hmm.
boar, but they're not actually pigs.
Huh.
They're called peccary. It's like a different kind of animal. It's not
Okay.
actually a pig, but they're, I don't know, they're about the size of like a, I don't know, like a small dog, but they're
Mm-hmm.
really heavy. They're like really round and heavy, and
Okay.
they have like these tusks, and they're kind of mean if they have little ones around.
I mean, makes
But
sense.
like the mothers will charge you, and they'll fucking bite your legs and shit.
Do they taste
But
like pork?
I yeah, I didn't really eat it. Like I didn't get to eat it.
Because it was so gross.
It went bad in the fridge,
Oh.
unfortunately. But I'm not really sure what you would do with it. Like all the recipes I looked at, they usually combine it with another meat.
Huh.
So it's like
Cool.
probably doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
That
like
means it doesn't taste good alone. So
supplements other meals.
I don't know. You might be able to make like a really heavily seasoned chorizo or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But what's
You
the
can make
point? Just
sausage
get
out of
pork.
anything.
Like, I don't know. I probably won't go javelina hunting again. I thought it was gonna be better, but you know,
Just go hang out in a deer blind and then just
yeah, dude, I want to
chill.
go elk hunting again. That's what I want to do. I've never got an elk yet. I want to get an elk because you'll have meat for like a fucking year.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Just don't let it go bad in the fridge.
well, you give it away too, and you still have meat for a year.
Mhm.
Like,
The only time that I've ever had venison, I think I ruined venison for myself, but in
Aw.
the best way. So I was camping one time, and I think it was Boy Scouts. And there was like the mountain man section of like the summer camp or whatever,
yeah,
and you could just go and hang out and like make musket balls and like candles and shit. But they had a full grown deer roasting over the spit all day long, and you could just smell it from anywhere in the campsite.
wow.
And when it was finally ready, like just I don't think it'll ever taste that good again. Like unless I do the same
Oh
thing, like
man,
roast it over a spit. But like it was fantastic.
yeah, that sounds really good. Man, I wish I could like, man, like going to this audio school. It makes me want to like bring a microphone now. It's like
Just
I
out
want to
places.
capture the sound of that.
Oh yeah,
Not just the smell and like the taste, but like just put a microphone set up next to the fire
The
and the
grease
deer,
sort of,
the
like,
grease dripping into the
yeah.
fire and
You're
like
making me hungry.
yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm getting hungry too. I haven't eaten dinner yet, but I don't know. I'm probably just gonna make a grilled cheese.
Hell yeah.
Talking about elk and venison and shit.
I
Oh well.
I think part of it is I just can't find venison because like they don't really sell it at like the grocery store.
Cabela's?
Really? Okay.
I don't know. Maybe.
I'll give it a look. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Do a Google search or something.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. But well, I am getting way too hungry, so I think we're gonna call this one.
Too. So.
All right, dude. Well, it was good talking to you.
Yeah, of course.
I know we kind of broke off audio at the end there, but
It's fine.
I don't care.
I had a good conversation.
All right. Well, hopefully we have more.
Yeah, for sure.